Good evening. It almost looks like morning, doesn't it?
Hashtag fat acceptance is genocide.
I was about to say it's not, but I was referring to the fact that it's not morning, even though it looks like it's morning. Fat acceptance, however, is genocide. It's killed many
Look at the sun
people.
raining down on Coath Eli's frizz.
Anyway, fat acceptance. Well, let's start with some basics here. Obesity-related diseases, and yes, those are real. Okay, being a fatty does have
What
its
about hashtag
consequences on
healthy
your
at all
health.
sizes?
No. Well, I mean that depends on how that size is built anyway. But
Yeah.
anyhow, fat has consequences. Being obese has consequences.
Who would have thought being lazy isn't productive?
Well, yeah. And the diseases associated with that kill hundreds of thousands and even millions of people. And so I would say that the blood of all those people is on the hands of those who told them that it was perfectly healthy and okay to be like that.
And well, yeah, of course, personal responsibility is a large part of it as well.
Absolutely.
But certainly accomplices in the
oh yeah, assisted suicide.
Yeah.
Encouraged suicide. And if you can have people prosecuted for encouraging somebody else to commit suicide and they do it, then I would say the same standard applies to this.
Right. But I don't know where along the lines this particular form of suicide became acceptable. I know in most states and most countries, assisted suicide isn't even legal in hospitals for people with like terminal illnesses a lot of the time, which is bizarre that that's not okay. But somehow fat acceptance was like huge, like the big thing, even though countless like empirical, studies, straight up evidence, there's no denying it at this point at all, how unhealthy it is and how much of a choice it is. You're like, my thyroid this, whatever. Anyone can lose weight, anyone can progress. Your metabolism doesn't matter. You play the hand you're dealt. Some people might be in a position where it's more difficult to lose weight. You might have a slower metabolism, but that doesn't mean it doesn't function. If you're eating and you're pooping, you could lose weight.
If you're not, then we need to talk.
Yeah, if you're not, see your doctor for unrelated reasons. But there aren't any excuses. Anyone can better themselves, and no one has an excuse to be that incredibly lazy where you end up putting on, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, or 400 pounds, however much. There's no excuse for that. No one's genetically predisposed to that. It didn't exist, 200 years ago. Maybe even as much as little as 100 years ago. But
Diggum Dirks.
It's totally degenerate, and I'm speaking of someone who has been there before.
And I used to be fat too.
Yeah, both of us actually. And we have fat parents and stuff, and we're obviously like predisposed towards that because of our genetics. But that didn't stop either of us from losing large amounts of weight, from getting in decent shape. And I'm still 100% body fat or whatever, but I weigh less now at a almost 20-year-old guy who's been powerlifting for the past 4 years now. I weigh less now than I did.
If you're not aware, he actually is a competitive level powerlifter. So.
Right, yeah.
It's not all fat.
Yeah, I've set some local records, as if that means anything. But no, I've been doing it for about 4 years now, almost 5 years. And I weigh less now than I did when I was 15. So if that puts that in perspective for you, then you kind of understand where we're coming from.
And part of it, is that people are deceived into thinking that it's okay and that it's healthy.
Well, so many people are saying it is, and that's the point of this video.
And
stop saying
so
it's okay.
If I tell you, hey, this car is totally safe when I know that the brake line's been cut, and I say, hey, you should go drive that, it'll be awesome.
Right, that would make you a bad person. And this is no different. Saying, oh no, it's fine, you look beautiful, or whatever. It's nice to the feelings, but of course we all know how you feel as a lie.
And I'm sure you're going to feel really confident driving that car up until the moment when you realize you're going to die.
Yeah, exactly. And we have I think we have a dishonesty epidemic in our society, not just with fat acceptance, I think everywhere. And certainly if you're not aware, we live in the South, which has a large atmosphere of like the sort of bless their heart mentality of just being polite.
I thought you were going to say muffin tops and flip-flops, but
well,
anyway.
Let's move to Antarctica. No, there's a huge mentality of being really nice to people's faces, and awful, just horrible intentions from the heart. And that's got to stop. And I think the biggest place that we see that now in today's society is going to be fat acceptance. So widely pushed and so widely accepted by wine moms and people on Tumblr and stuff like that, and it just has to end.
And I read, and this was on a somewhat unrelated subject, but it was a really good way of putting it. And I read this in the book H3 Leadership recently, which is a good book, by the way.
H3 Productions.
No.
What did you say it was?
H3 Leadership, but
written by Ethan Klein.
no. But anyway, the way it put it, and that applies to this too, is that a lot of people are more concerned with being loved than they are with actually being loving.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So people are more concerned with, okay, what can I say to make this person like me more? Which is going to be, oh, you're beautiful, you're healthy, all that good stuff, regardless of your size or anything like that. That's going to make them love me more than me actually being loving to them,
right,
and telling them what they need to hear,
really,
and helping them.
In a lot of ways, it's selfish too, because
that's exactly what it is. You're focused on being loved instead of loving that person.
Right, you're putting your own image and how like caring you are and appearing that way above the well-being of someone else, which is straight, pure selfishness. There's no getting around it.
Putting your own ego above that person's life.
Right.
It is not okay at all.
And we're not saying either to be like bullies. We're not advocating the opposite extreme of that and saying, if you're not a size 00, kill yourself, you know, to all women or anything like that.
In fact, I think a lot of women are too hard on themselves.
Yeah,
I see a lot of women who are in, perfectly good shape, and maybe they're not, in swimsuit model kind of shape like that, but they're still at a healthy weight,
right,
at a healthy, body fat percentage, and they think that they're fat, and they beat themselves up over it, which is not okay either.
And not to mention, women naturally store more body fat than men. Their percentage naturally, at a healthy weight, their body fat percentage is going to be higher. That's normal. And women start getting this idea of wanting, like, oh, I want a six-pack or whatever, and it's good to be healthy, but it's not good.
You don't need a six-pack. I don't have a six-pack.
It's not good to shut down your thyroid. But yeah, there tends to be pushed to the opposite extreme. I've known a couple of chicks who had anorexia. One of them was a dancer who was like good at it, like for real, and was in great shape, had a really skilled and talented body, and looks great by any normal person's standards, and thought she was fat because she was comparing herself to Olympic level gymnasts and shit like that. Totally like far end of an extreme.
The pinnacle of human achievement.
Right. And also, of course, to those people, that's their whole life. They don't do anything else. They just live for whatever sport they're in. So they're at this crazy, and probably use certain enhancements as well. They
probably eat really clean and train really hard.
Yeah.
And use natural supplements.
Right. Natural supplements. But they compare themselves to that kind of thing anyway, because that's what's constantly flashed in our face. So there seems to be two opposite ends of extremes, and we're against both of them. So the point of this video isn't to say, go tell everyone that has 3 pounds to lose that they're going to hell. It's not about that.
And here's one point to make too. If you decide that, I want to be fat and kill myself, then okay, that's your choice.
Yeah.
Don't try to convince everybody else that that's okay though.
Right, if you're in that position.
And the angle that we're coming at is not we hate fat people. The angle is we hate fat acceptance because we love fat people.
Right, and that's to finish the thought I was making. This isn't about hating anyone. This is about encouragement, and this is about productivity. This is about saying, hey, to your fat friend, let's go on a walk. Let's get into swimming. or let's get into weight training or something like that. Be proactive about helping people, you know, of course, and you should be training. Anyone watching this video, you should be training in some way, some shape or form.
Anybody who's not watching this video, you should also be training.
But this isn't just about condemnation. This is about being proactive and about helping people. I think the biggest takeaway from this video should be stop being tolerant and start being proactive. Being honest with your friend who's at risk for health conditions isn't bad. It's not intolerant and it's not hateful. You might briefly hurt their feelings, but how little will that matter in the grand scheme of them getting their health back or getting healthy at all, if they've never, you know, if they've never been healthy. That's so much more valuable than fleeting emotions, you know. But anyway, that's all I got to say.
Yep, that about sums it up right there. So, hate the fat acceptance, love the fat person. And if you truly do love fat people, then you will hate fat acceptance, because what that's doing is telling them to kill themselves.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's about it for this video. There are all kinds of resources online. I don't even have to tell you about how to get in shape, how to deal with all that. If you want inspiration, I don't know. He has an Instagram.
My Instagram is Coath Eli.
He'll show you how to lift extremely heavy weight.
Sort of. Depending on your perspective.
Well, yeah. If you are George Lehman, he might not show you how to lift extremely heavy weight.
A good YouTube channel that has comprehensive information for fat loss and for weight training is the channel that actually belongs to my illegitimate father, Omar Isuf. So OMARISUF on YouTube has videos on weight loss, videos on technique for weight training, and they're all really comprehensive, really easy to understand. So if you need a resource, then that would be a good place to start out.
If he says it's good, it's good. But that's it for now. Follow him on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter if you want to get inside my head, where I'm totally unfiltered.
Hashtag NoFapSeptember.
NoFapSeptember. Stop watching porn. If you do watch porn, get off of that too, because that's nasty. You only hurting yourself. You only hurting yourself, all right? Y'all take it easy. Have a beautiful, lovely, porn-free day. And get your life under control. Let's get in shape. Let's make your life great again. Okay? Y'all take it easy, but not too easy, and we will talk to you later.